All right. Hello, everybody. It's the Meister from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am very, very excited today. I have a very special guest on. I am talking with Mercury, the lead singer, also founding member and songwriter of synth pop darkwave band Priest. Mercury, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Victor. Thank you, and great to be on your show. It seems to be a really good one, and you got a good mix there, mixing albums with brewing with beers, and it's a superb combination, which I enjoyed, not daily, but sometimes, But it's really good to be on the show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to chat with you. So the big news, I think, right now probably is the fact that brand new album. I believe this is your fourth full-length album with Priest, correct?
It's actually the third full-length, but we released an EP that goes like an album also. So you can say it's easy to, but it's the third full-length. But we also, yeah.
Okay, cool.
To be correct, but we have it's a fourth bigger release we do, so that's
very cool. And that's Body Machine, which is coming out less than 2 weeks now, I believe, right? July 15th, I think it's coming out on Cleopatra Records.
Yeah, it's still on Cleopatra Records, and it's still surreal to actually know that it's going to be out, because it's been a long waiting time for it to actually hit the stores now, but soon we're there, and we can't wait. We're super excited about it. So go out and grab it, guys.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, very cool stuff. And you've already released 3 tracks there's been 3 singles that have been released so far. Signal in the Noise, Techno Girl, and then most recently was Blacklisted, which might be my favorite song well, I don't know, they're all really cool songs, but yeah, I dig all of them a lot, and Blacklisted is really cool. So yeah, those singles are out there now, so if people want to check those out, you can hear those on streaming and on YouTube. There's videos released, and yeah, really cool stuff. So I was curious about I wanted to talk to you about the album and the production of the album, because I know with the pandemic and with supply chain issues that are going on worldwide, yeah, like you said, it took a little while to kind of get this out. So kind of what was that process like for you?
It was we were actually finished with the album in August last year. Then finishing up the artwork and sent to print in late September. Release day was supposed to be in January, February, but delays in the vinyl. It was actually, I think, the material for producing vinyl records was not enough, and it was a higher pressure because everybody that haven't released during the pandemic was about to release records. So big artists took up small pressing plants and so forth and so on. So we had to wait, and that waiting process is not fun. You have you finished something, you want to have it out in this. It's 3 months is the basic waiting time from finished to hit the stores. But we started to record another album, so we're pretty far into the process of next album after.
Wow, so you're already ahead of the game. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's nice to feel that it's a security buffer that you have. But now we're in the middle of that record. So now it's like, oh yeah, Body Machine is out, and we're super stoked, excited. We're most excited about how you are gonna, how everyone is gonna receive the album. But we know it from inside out now. It's like, yeah, we've lived with it for a while.
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, but you asked about the process. Was it the recording process as well?
Yeah, and kind of the writing process. So for people that don't know, so Priest is a 3-member band. So it's you and Salt and Sulfur. And it's a really fascinating and cool vibe musically, what you guys are doing. It's, I've heard it described as darkwave, synth pop, kind of gothic synth pop. you know, and
Yeah,
all genres, but yeah, what I love about is it's kind of for me personally, what it reminds me of, you know, being a child of the 70s and 80s. It really harkens back to, you know, kind of that Depeche Mode and New Order, but it's darker, which I like a lot. It's
thanks,
really
thanks.
cool stuff.
Yeah, thanks. And of course, we going back to a New Order, you know, one of our favorite bands, and also, but I think the New Romantics had like you can see the gothic elements in there, and also if you read a William Gibson novel like Neuromancer or like Mona Lisa Overdrive, you can see the gothic elements in cyberpunk.
Hmm.
The fall of the physical environment, cities, and so forth, the decay of the civilization. But inside that, you have cyberspace or whatever. That's some pure spiritual revelation. And I think we combine the dark, but we still need to have the bright elements in there, and we try to explore the technological aspects of gothic soundscapes.
Yeah.
So we need to be darker, but there will be poppy songs as well. So if you like Erasure as well, those who like Erasure will also get their fix if they listen to us.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
But we're dark. We're gonna be dark, and the imagery is dark, and I like that too. It's always gonna be like that. So, but I still love my a little more poppy songs as well.
Yeah. I mean, you have some really cool. Yeah, like that's what I really like about it is it's fresh and new, but then it also gives a nod to that you know, that synth pop of the 80s, you know, like you know, like you said, Erasure and, you know, Human League and bands like that. But, you know, you definitely have your own vibe and your own sound, which is cool. But it's nice to, yeah, kind of that nod to those bands. Yeah, there's little elements that remind me of certain things. And what I think is really cool too about your music is it's very riff driven, like keyboard riff driven, but also very melodic and a lot of cool harmonies. Which is great, especially coming from just three people. You know, and it has this big, bold, bombastic sound. But it's also very accessible and very fun.
Yeah, thanks. It's try to be a little minimalistic. It's always it's easy to put on layer. So we have a producer, Simon Söderberg, who also worked with played in Ghost and recorded foremost the first album.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's an expert on takeaway. When I write a song, it's like I have really can be a lot of tracks going, you know, and I do them multi-layers, melodies going into each other. But he's not. It's too messy to listen to. We take away this. And it's heartbreaking, of course, in the studio. But of course, if you're in the studio and you're working, the ego is outside the door. You don't take the ego inside the studio. So it's like, okay, yes. And in the end, he often does the right choices. So it's, yeah. So we try to keep the most vital elements there and take away the stuff that actually aren't needed. And he's also an expert on sound. So when we have a bass synth, I think it sounds super fast. And he said, missing a little sub there. And then he goes into the equalizer and put on another synth, which doesn't richer. So it's a lot of tricks in there. And that's, I'm glad you can hear it because it gets the sound wider, heavier, deeper. And yes, it's good to have a good producer. I can tell you.
Yeah. And he's definitely a great producer. And as you mentioned, you know, he produced the first Ghost album, and also I think he played on it as well, didn't he? He's also a guitar player. I think he played on it.
Yeah, he was playing lead guitar in Ghost from the start. Yeah,
and that's a good segue into my next question. So for those that don't know, you and Salt were former Ghost members. You played with Ghost. You played bass, and Salt, and you went by the name Water, I believe, and and Salt went by Air and played keyboards in Ghost. When was that? When did you play with them?
I played 2013 to 2015.
Oh, okay, cool.
I basically toured the second album Infestisman, and was leaving or get kicked from the band in early 2015 during the recording of the third album Meliora. Salt, the former Air, was in the band from the start. Maybe started like the third live show they had or something like that, and continued until end of 2016.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
So he did toward the three first albums, you can say.
Gotcha. Did the two of you start kind of collaborating and discussing, forming your own band at that time, or did that come afterwards?
But I was out of the Ghost in early 2015, so I started up the Priest with two other guys.
Oh, okay.
But we started to produce with Simon Söderberg, who still was in Ghost at the time. Summer 2015, we started to look at some demos and started to produce in his living room. But we didn't pick up the production for real until 2016, and when we started the recording of New Flesh, the first Priest album. And we finished it early 2017. So it was, but it was not a continuous recording. We could only record when Simon was home from touring with Ghost. So
I see.
We wrote. I wrote most of the songs when I was at home, but producing with him when he was not on the road, so to speak. So.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So I was curious about the writing process. Is it a collaborative effort? Are you primarily the songwriter, or is it kind of, do you collaborate with Salt and Sulfur, and kind of does everybody bring something to the table?
It's different, but most of the time I do a demo on my computer, bring it to Simon in the studio, and sometimes Simon gets into the composition process because he's like, that melody is, you need some syncopation there, and then you need another. So then we can change it together, which I'm very open for. So and a song like Blacklisted, actually, that was Simon that wrote the bass riffs in that song.
Interesting.
And I wrote the lyrics and the vocal melody, if you can call it melody, on the song. So that was a total collaborative. And I also came up with the song structure. Like, he had some riffs going, and I put them together in the certain structure. This should be the chorus. This should be the verse, and so forth. So sometimes it's collaborative, but most of the time I bring a song skeleton to the studio, which we produce together, and the other guys come in and come in with their ideas and his playing skills. Like Salt, former Air, is really good at coming up with strange chops because it's steeped in more 70s fusion and funk and stuff like that, so we can bring those elements in as well. So it's a fun collaboration.
Nice. Really. Yeah, it's almost like Simon's almost like a fourth member of the band in a way.
Yeah, it's been there since the beginning, so it's certainly, and we worked with him on almost every song we released in some way. So
nice. Yeah. I was also curious about the look of the band, and kind of, how you came up with the look. Obviously you guys are anonymous, you're masked, as you were as a nameless ghoul in Ghost. So I was kind of curious kind of how that process happened, kind of what, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do from the beginning, and did you always want to be anonymous?
Yeah, it's more relaxed on stage, to be not have your face out there, I think. But also it was I didn't want the party to stop, you know.
Mhm.
And I thought it was a cool concept, and it's too much fun to have a it's much more it's a more effort to have a theatrical band with masks and stuff, because you have to think about a lot more,
Yeah.
and you have to create the new stuff. But I wasn't finished with it. I wanted to continue, but to start another rock band would be pretty stupid. So I had a long dream to have a synth pop project, which I could pick up again and combine those two elements, and it became Priest. So, and we tried actually not to look too much like Ghost, because the first incarnation of Priest, we had leather masks, more like gimp masks and proper suits. So it's several masked bands out there, but we tried to get a little further from the Ghost look.
Right.
But now with this, probably, yeah. But we don't look at like Ghost now, because they going for some kind of steampunk. I saw some pictures from the
They definitely are.
They're doing steampunk, we're doing cyberpunk. So yeah.
Nice, cool. So that begs the question, you know, I mean, that it's a really interesting. It feels like you've had a very interesting musical journey, you know, just alone with going from Ghost into Priest. But so I'm really curious about your background as a musician, kind of how you started. Did you start as a bass player? Because I know you were a bass player in Ghost. Did you start as a bass player, and kind of that evolution of your music from being in a rock band into a synth pop band? I'm really curious about kind of how that all happened.
I think it started out with clarinetto, but I started to play bass at 14, and in a band they needed a bass player. I didn't know how to play bass back then, so but my mom had a bass at home, so I just brought it to the rehearsal and started playing. I later got educated in school and had a bass as main instrument, so it's played in some jazz.
Gotcha. Was your mom, sorry to interrupt, was your mom a musician? Or is she a musician?
Yes, she used to play in bands when she was younger. Yeah, so
cool.
And also my dad as well. So, but yeah, so that it started there. But my dad also had computers at home, like an Atari 1040, like with sound modules and synthesizers. So I started out programming on that also when I was quite young. So I already knew the basics of how to do synth pop, and I did some synth pop back then as well. So I had it in the system, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I played in many different bands, also indie pop bands, and then I played in some metal bands as well before Ghost. So but I've always been playing in bands, more or less, small bands. But then it was a opportunity to get to play with a much bigger band and on the rise. So that was a fantastic experience. And eventually it became what we're doing today, which is the most fulfilling band to date for me, because it's a concept that you created more or less yourself, and we can explore themes that are interesting to me and to us, which I've been interested in since I was a kid, you know, like robots and cyberpunk and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I think is really cool about your music too. It almost has this, like, you could definitely see it as the soundtrack for like a dystopian film, you know, something like Blade Runner or a dystopian video game, or, you know, like a cyberpunk video game or something like that. You know, I could definitely, your music really would lend itself well to that kind of cinematic, you know, look, I think, in a lot of ways.
Thank you. Then we're doing something right. Hopefully it would be fun to have something in a cyberpunk video game. Actually, that would be awesome.
I think, like I said, I think your music would lend itself very well to that. So if there's any programmers out there watching this, then you should definitely connect with Mercury from Priest.
Do it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now I know you guys have been touring quite a bit recently, right? Throughout Europe and the UK.
Exactly. We did UK, Ireland, and we done some Sweden gigs as well. We have a tour with Combi Christ coming up.
Oh, cool.
We haven't announced it yet because we just found out about it. So we're gonna have to, sort out some stuff. But we're gonna tour with Combi Christ for almost 3 weeks, and then we're gonna do the rest of the run with the Hoops and Frontline Assembly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're gonna support the legends. And Combi Christ is a really cool band, and we're so glad they asked us to come with them, and because they have a really large audience, which is very devoted, and we get a chance to play for them. So it's I'm sure it's gonna open up a lot of doors for us. So
Yeah, that's great.
And hopefully, if everything goes as we want to, which we're working for, we come over to the States as well in October.
Oh, excellent. Very cool.
So we already have a festival in Mexico booked. So we just try to work around before and after that one. While we're over, we want to make sure we can come to the States as well. But there's some paperwork still to be done, but it looks very optimistic.
Oh, good. Do you have maybe it's too early in the game at this point, but do you have bands? Have you talked with other bands to tour with in the States, or is that maybe it's too early for that? But
we have talked to a Swedish band called Kitka as a support band, but that looks more like to be in the spring, because we're aiming to come back to the States in the spring as well. Not that we exactly know of now. I have some ideas, I have some suggestions, but we have nothing is 100% confirmed yet. But we will, from our channels, give you the exact information, hopefully very soon. So
cool, very cool. Well,
it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you come. Hopefully you come to Utah. I would love to see you guys live. I'll buy you a beer.
Oh, thank. I would love that. And sooner or later we will come to Utah. Be sure. But I don't know when yet. But our bookers in the US, she's working on it, and I hopefully I'll see Utah on her calendar, which I haven't seen yet, but hopefully it's there. And if we gotta have a beer.
Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. That would be very cool. That would be great. I did want to ask you, I mentioned, that I thought it'd be cool to see your music in some dystopian video games and movies and whatnot, but you actually, so the first single that was released from the new album is actually in a film, correct? It's in I believe a Mel Gibson movie, right?
Exactly. His latest movie, Hot Seat, that premiered in theaters July 1st. So it was just 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, cool.
2 days ago. We're super stoked. It's in the soundtrack, and it's when this movie ends, it's the song, a signal in the noise, the first single from Body Machine. It's like bam, coming there, and it's surreal still, being a small band.
Yeah, that's cool.
From a small town in Sweden, and you grew up with like Mel Gibson movies, and suddenly your music is in one of the movies. It's still hard to fathom. And big thanks to everybody involved, and also to Cleopatra that suggested us to be in the movie, and we're just very grateful and thankful for it, and it's a great feeling. We can die happy.
Congratulations, that's very cool. Yeah, like you said, it's got to be kind of surreal to be in a theater and hear your own music up on the big screen. That's exciting.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. That is great. So kind of what do you have going on right now? What are you well, you mentioned, you had done kind of finished up some touring, but you've got some stuff lined up. Kind of what are your, and you mentioned also you're doing you've already started writing a new album. So kind of, are you constantly writing? Is that kind of your MO, or you?
I write all the time. So we all already come far into the production of another album. Just gonna lay down some vocals on 2 more tracks, then it's ready for mix, I think.
Wow.
So
it's really done.
yeah. So it's we come pretty far, but we have to, we're just working, and the album after that is almost finished. It's written, it's and also I started on an album after that as well, so I'm a workaholic,
Oh wow, good for you.
But it's fun to write songs. It's the most fun thing, and if you write a lot, then your writing becomes better, and it's faster. Wait a minute, excuse me.
Oh, sure.
Är det någon på dörren eller? Farsan, är det någon på dörren eller? Nej. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
No, so it's fun to write songs, and if you do it a lot, then you become more effective as a writer as well, I think. And it's what you want, and sure, it's just fun to explore it's a fun thing to make albums. I think it's just like a little movie. You can put together the song is like little scenes in a movie. So it's
yeah, that's cool. Who have been? I was curious as far, maybe this is kind of a loaded question, but I was curious as far as like your bass work, your songwriting, your vocals, and even your programming. Like, who have been kind of your big influences as musicians? Like, who are the people that shaped you?
I would throw in Depeche Mode in there, and I can't get away from Martin Gore as a songwriter, even if I thought earlier in my life he was much bigger for me, but now I see him as a really talented songwriter. And lyrics, I haven't gone to many musicians for the lyrics. It's like mostly read or watch movies and take stuff from there, or
right.
And poetry, I wasn't interested in poetry at all until I started to write songs, because then I thought, I probably can learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
And steal a lot from it, which I have done. So, but borrow.
There you go.
So no, that's it's different. I love the British band Orbital. That was the main influence to the writing melodies. But now I mostly listen to Bach, Johann Sebastian.
Oh, okay.
Bach. When I am at home, I have always something running. I don't compare myself, but if you listen to something a lot, maybe something rubs off on you.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting. That's really cool. I love that. So since you like beer, this is my last question for you, but so as you know, my page is Brews and Tunes. I pair music and beer.
I love the concept.
So say it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, and Mercury, you're home, you're home hanging out by yourself. What beer are you drinking, and what album are you spinning?
Oh, that's a really good question. Right now, if I would do it right now, I would have an IPA, like a really hoppy IPA. Cool. I don't know which brand right now, but there's some good ones. Maybe an American one. And I would spin kick back and relax to a Brian Eno record, like Neroli. Nice. I would listen to and just have a nice quiet time in the setting sun. That's
very cool.
An ice cold IPA, like brown.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. I love it. Cheers. That's a great pairing.
At least I had one. I go here.
Yeah, that's a great pairing. I love that. So Mercury, this has been a pleasure and an honor chatting with you. For everybody that's watching, please, if you look in the description below, there'll be links to Priest if you've never heard Priest, definitely check them out. You are going to dig this band. Really cool stuff. I've been fascinated since the first time I heard them, and the new album drops in less than 2 weeks on the 15th. So definitely pick that up. I've heard an advanced copy of it, and it is incredible from start to finish. It's one of those albums that you start it and you listen to the whole thing and then you hit repeat because it's that good.
No fillers, only killers, you know.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you for your warming words, Victor, and so glad you liked the album. It's gonna be out July 15th. Make sure to grab a copy. You know, it's you're not gonna be disappointed. We're very proud of it and super excited about it. So it's
nice. Well, Mercury, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. Cheers, my friend.
Yeah, cheers and beers.
There you go.
Okay.